Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 books I want to read in 2019. So 2018 was a very weird reading year for me. I talked about this in my all the books I read in 2018 video. I only read like 8 books, something like that, and it was not a lot. 2019 I really want to read more books, and I know it's very ambitious to say, you know, the top 10 books I want to read in 2019 if I didn't even read 10 books in 2018, but like, you know, we're gonna be hopeful this year. Half of last year I didn't even read anything because I was in my freshman year of college and I didn't read one book my whole freshman year because I was just very overwhelmed. So now that I'm a sophomore, I have, you know, grown into reading again, started reading more, and kind of gotten used to being in college, and now I feel a lot better. So, without further ado, let's just get into my list. So the first book, this is in no particular order by the way, first book that I thought of that I wanted to read in 2019 is HalfBlood by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the first book in the HalfBlood series. I do want to finish like the whole series, but we're just gonna keep it, you know, we're gonna keep it doable at the moment. So this is a really short book, so it's going to be easy to read, but that is not why I picked it. I picked it because I love Jennifer L. Armentrout. She's one of my favorite authors. She wrote the Dark Elements series, which is kind of like about gargoyles, and like they're called wardens and they defend the world against demons. Then there's also the Lux series, which is about aliens, and they're both very like steamy, like paranormal romance, kind of guilty pleasure reads, and you know, you need that sometimes, and I love it. And that's why it's a guilty pleasure, I guess. I love it. It's obviously not the most amazing, lyrical, beautiful imagery and writing, but it is so interesting, and I love it, and it just makes my little heart happy, and it entertains me, and I enjoy it. And that's the whole point of reading, is you want to read things you enjoy. So anyway, this is probably going to be a lot like that, with her writing style kind of being more paranormal romance, so I'm very excited to read this. This one's kind of about like Greek gods and like demigods and stuff like that. That's all I know about it. That's all I want to know. Her plots normally start out very simple, more Twilight-esque, and get more complicated as you go on and through the books, as complicated as like this type of series can get, but they're very tangible, very easy to read, very enjoyable. So I love her books and I'm very excited for this series. The next book that I have on my list is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I honestly feel like this has been on my list for the past like 2 years. For some reason I haven't picked this up at all. There was a peak point where I really wanted to pick it up, but for some reason I didn't. I don't know why. But this book I really do want to read. I've heard a lot of positive things about it, but I'm a little scared, to be honest, because of the hype. I think kind of books that get more hyped up, for me, I get less excited about them as time goes on because I have hyped it up in my head to be super good and amazing, and I'm scared it won't be. But yeah, it's basically about a heist, follows 6 different characters. That's all I know about it. I know that there's characters named Kaz and Inej, and I don't know, that is all I know. So I am excited to read it. I'm just a little hesitant because of all the hype that it's gotten, and I think that that has kind of put me off from reading it. I'm just a little scared to read this one, but I think hopefully it'll be good. The next one on my list has also been on many lists, but I think this is the year that I'm going to do it, and that is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This is part of the Dark Artifices. This is the first book, but the whole series is out now for that, and I think now that the whole series is out, I feel better about reading the first one because now I could just binge the whole series and it'll be great. So that is my, you know, that's my thought process here. I love Cassandra Clare. I pre-ordered this right when it came out, and I started reading it, and then I just never finished it. And I've read the first like 50 pages like 3 different times, and I haven't been able to get into it. So I'm going to attempt again to get into it, and I'm going to vlog it. I'm just nervous to read this again because of the hype, but I'm also not nervous because I love Cassandra Clare, and I don't think it'll disappoint me because I love Cassandra Clare's writing so much. So I'm excited to read this and the rest of the series, and finally be caught up with the Shadowhunter world because I've never been behind with it, so I feel very weird being behind. The next book that I have that I really want to read in 2019, I think this is one of my top priority ones, is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This will be my first Laini Taylor book. I've heard that the writing style is very like lyrical and dreamy and mystical, and I'm feeling kind of like magical realism vibes for it for some reason, kind of like the Raven Boys, and I didn't think I would like magical realism, but I loved the Raven Boys with all my heart. So I think hopefully I'll love this too, but it follows a librarian named Laszlo Strange. He's like obsessed with this lost city called Weep, and everyone has like forgotten about the city and forgotten the name of it, and the only name that anyone knows it by is Weep, and that's all I really know about this, but I've heard that the writing is fantastic and that it's a great book, and it's a lot of people's like top favorite books, I guess, of the year, and I hope that I enjoy it, and I'm really excited to read it, and I really want to like take my time with this and like tab it. The next book on my list is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I actually did start this and I got a fair amount into it. I got like 120 pages in. I was really enjoying it, and then I got distracted by another book and I really forget what book it was, but I really want to restart this and start reading it again because I was really enjoying it, and I've heard fantastic things about it from a lot of different people. I know Chandler Ainsley really loves this book and she raves about it, so like I really am excited to get into it and read it, but I have been enjoying it so far and it was gripping me while I was reading it, but I'm gonna go back and reread that part. It's set in a world of like fairies, and it kind of parallels between our world and this fairy world, and it's kind of more urban fantasy with like a told like a fantasy, I guess. That's how I remember it, but I don't know if it was actually that. I remember there are scenes that happen in our world, so I don't know. I was really enjoying it and I want to finish it in the new year. The next book that I have is one that I'm very scared of, and that's not just because of like the character in the book, because she's pretty like, you know, badass. That is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I have read Illuminae and I really enjoyed Illuminae, but I'm scared of this book. This is an adult fantasy book and it follows an assassin, I believe, named Mia, and she has a shadow cat, and that's really all I know about it. But I'm just a little scared of the book because it's very large, the writing's very small, it has little footnotes, it's just intimidating. So I want to read this in the new year, but I don't know when I'm going to have the time to read this. But I really do want to read this. I've heard great things about it. I've heard great things about the characters and the world and the story, and I love assassins. Unpopular opinion insertion here. Very sorry if I offend anyone. It's just my opinion, but I don't really like Throne of Glass very much. I enjoyed the first book, and then I read the next two, and I didn't like them really, and I couldn't get into it. And I wanted like a really good assassin story, so hopefully this will be that for me. I'm hoping I enjoy this. I'm just a little scared because I haven't ever read like an adult fantasy novel before, and this is just intimidating to me. But yeah, I really want to start getting into more heavy fantasy adult books. The next one that I have is A Darker Shade of Magic, another adult fantasy book by Victoria Schwab. This is one that I've been wanting to read for a while, and it's been on a few lists of like TBRs and things that I really want to read. My sister just read it. She said it was really good. She said it's one of her favorite books now. So I really do now want to get into this even more so than I did before, because I trust my sister, and she doesn't read like as often as I do. So if she really likes a book and she like could get into it, I really want to read it. So I'm really excited to read this. This kind of follows this character named Kel, and he can travel between these different dimensions of London, and the magic systems in each of the dimensions are kind of different. And he meets this girl named Lila Bard, and she's like a pirate cross-dressing person. That's all I know really about this. But I'm very excited to read this. I've heard fantastic things about this. I've heard some mixed things, but mostly good things. And I'm very excited to read this. The next book on my list is Three Dark Crowns by Kendari Blake. I have heard mixed things on this book, but I particularly have like revived my need to read this from watching Brittany the Bibliophile. She read this book and I know that she really enjoyed it. Follows three sisters and they each have like a different power and they're competing to like have the throne. That's all I know about it. Sorry for the lack of description, but I don't know too much about all these books, and I also don't want to know a lot about the books that I read. But anyway, this one just sounds interesting to me, and it just grabbed me. This cover is also gorgeous, but that's not why I want to read it. This one that I have is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This one I've read the first 2 Lunar Chronicles books, and I did enjoy them. I want to read something different from Marissa Meyer and see how I like her writing style, because I'm still unsure on how I feel about it, because I listen to those on audiobooks, so like, I don't know, sometimes it's different to me with audiobooks. But I've heard fantastic things about this. I know I'm saying this about all of the books, but like, this one I'm really hoping that I enjoy a lot. It's kind of like the origin story of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, and that alone just grabs me. I don't think I've read a villain origin story ever, so I'm excited to get into this one. And this is a really like popular book on BookTube, but I've heard great things about it, so I'm very excited to read it. And the last and final book on my list is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire, which this is the second book in the Every Heart a Doorway series. It follows 2 of the characters from the first book, which the first book is about this school for wayward children, where basically after they go to another world, they come back and they want to go back to the other world, so they go to the school where all these other kids are there that went to all these fantastical worlds and came back. So this is about 2 of the characters going to their worlds before the school, I believe. I really enjoyed the first book. I love the writing style, and I'm excited to see how that writing style plays off of being in a fantastical world rather than being like in our world. I don't know, I'm just really excited because I loved all the description, and like, despite being a tiny book, the first book was great, and I'm expecting the same thing from this one, so I'm really hoping I enjoy this one. So these are all the books. This is huge and very heavy, and a lot of them are hardcovers. Oh, one of them's backwards. But these are all the books that are on my top 10 list of books that I want to read in 2019. Let me know if any of these are on your list, or if you read any of these and really loved them or hated them, because I'd love to know. My name is Amber. I upload every Monday and Thursday, and now sometimes Saturdays if I have an extra video for the week. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel, and subscribe down below if you want to see more of my videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!
Words that I say, downtown the lights out, but we choose to stay.